All right, let's dive right into this explainer and unpack exactly why WordPress completely dominates the fast-moving Dubai business landscape. Listen, if you operate in the UAE, you already know this market is incredibly competitive. If you aren't growing, well, you're falling behind. And when it comes to building a digital presence that actually keeps pace with that growth, one platform's name just keeps surfacing. Today, using some fantastic source material from Rajput Digital Marketing, we aren't just looking at the what, we are deeply exploring the why. So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll be covering your 24/7 sales desk, shattering the WordPress myth, speed, SEO, and security, the default theme trap, and finally, building for real growth. Let's kick things off with Section 1, your 24/7 sales desk. Think about this for a second. A website isn't just a digital brochure anymore. It's your first impression at 2 a.m. The stakes here are literally huge. When a potential client in Dubai is researching your services in the middle of the night, maybe fueled by a late-night coffee or a 2 a.m. shawarma run, your website is out there doing the talking for you. If it's confusing, if it's broken, or if it's just painfully slow, that early morning first impression is absolutely going to cost you a lead. And that vital first impression ultimately comes down to what we call platform impact. Basically, the foundational software choice you make decides everything. It determines how fast your site loads, how easily it ranks on Google, and how seamlessly it converts a casual visitor into a warm lead. Building on the wrong platform is honestly like building a skyscraper on sand. It just makes everything so much harder than it needs to be. Smart businesses in the UAE demand flexibility, and they want full ownership of their data. They definitely don't want to be permanently locked into a single vendor's ecosystem. Moving right along to Section 2, shattering the WordPress myth. Look, there is a stark contrast between public perception and actual capability here. The outdated myth is that WordPress is kind of basic, just a platform for hobbyist bloggers. But the modern reality? Today, WordPress powers massive corporate sites, complex e-commerce stores, intricate booking systems, and full-blown, high-converting lead funnels. The paradigm shift you really need to grasp is this. The platform itself is almost never the limitation. It's the way people choose to set it up that actually holds them back. This all builds into a highly flexible business strategy. See, WordPress acts as a remarkably strong foundation that actually evolves with you. You can start simple when you launch. Then, as your marketing ramps up, you can easily add dedicated landing pages and targeted SEO content. And finally, you can integrate your CRM seamlessly without tearing your hair out. It lets startups and established UAE companies expand without the massive headache of being boxed into a restrictive system. You get to grow entirely on your own terms. Next up is Section 3, speed, SEO, and security. Now, speed isn't magic, it's planning. Users in Dubai are incredibly fast-moving, and frankly, they're pretty impatient. If your site takes too long to load, they're going to bounce straight over to your competitor. No way around it. The most expensive, gorgeous design in the world literally cannot save a slow site. But a properly built WordPress site paired with clean structure and solid hosting handles heavy traffic smoothly. It is all about that intentional setup from the start. And that intentional setup directly feeds right into SEO. Google's ranking factors aren't some big industry secret. They want clean URLs, proper headings, flawless mobile responsiveness, and fresh, updated content. Google doesn't rank platforms. It ranks structure and performance. But WordPress gives you a massive natural advantage by making all of these structural elements incredibly easy to manage right out of the box. That's exactly why so many top-ranking UAE businesses rely on it. But hey, traffic without conversion is just vanity metrics. You need integrated lead systems built directly into the site. We're talking contact forms, quote requests, direct WhatsApp integration, which, let's be honest, is absolutely vital for doing business in the UAE market, email capture, and live booking calendars. Because everything connects in WordPress without feeling clunky or forced, it quietly outperforms those rigid, expensive, custom-coded sites when it comes to actually turning a visitor into a paying lead. All right, Section 4, the default theme trap. Okay, so this brings up a mild contradiction. You might be wondering, if everything I just said is true, why are there so many terrible, underperforming WordPress sites out there? Well, the realization we have to come to is that a failing site usually isn't a platform problem at all. Actually, it's a planning problem. It's user error right at the foundational level. And the root of that planning problem is what we call the default theme trap. Off-the-shelf default themes? Yeah, they might look fine aesthetically, but they don't think, they don't guide users, and critically, they just don't convert. They give you a basic structure, but absolutely zero direction. High-converting sites, on the other hand, rely on custom layouts. They use intentional copy and specific design architecture to guide visitors step by step, intentionally driving them toward a specific business action. Finally, let's look at Section 5, Building for Real Growth. To truly succeed and thrive in Dubai's highly competitive market, you've got to follow a specific blueprint. First, build a custom foundation from day one. Second, deeply integrate clear messaging and robust lead capture into that structure. And third, make sure you have the capability to launch new services and campaigns later on without completely breaking your site. This custom approach is exactly why top agencies and major real estate firms stick with WordPress for the long haul. It just grows reliably in the background while they focus on what they do best: closing deals. As our source material from Rodput Digital Marketing points out, the required philosophy here is pretty simple. You have to design for how people actually behave, not how some prepackaged theme suggests they should. Speed, rigorous SEO, and intuitive usability, those can't just be bolted on as an afterthought right before you hit launch. They have to be baked right into the foundation from the very beginning. That is for sure the true secret to sustainable digital growth. Ultimately, WordPress, when executed correctly, perfectly balances absolute freedom with total control. It forces you to take a hard look at your own digital presence and ask yourself one really critical question. Is your current website just a digital brochure gathering dust, or is it a strategically built 24/7 sales desk ready to capture your next big lead? I hope this explainer has given you the framework to answer that, and more importantly, the knowledge to fix it if it isn't.